My missing fiancé of 5 years was the groom at my best friend's wedding. I saw Ethan Blake again after 5 years at my best friend's wedding. He was the groom. I was the bridesmaid. Rachel grinned as she shared their love story with me. I actually saved him from that car accident. I heard he had a fiancé, but I flew him overseas for treatment that same night. Pretty badass move, right? Chapter 1. Rachel kept chattering excitedly, but I couldn't hear anything over the ringing in my ears. 5 years. Nearly 2,000 days and nights. The man I loved most had been hidden by my best friend for 5 whole years. I bent over, gasping for air, my whole body trembling uncontrollably. Rachel noticed my distress and quickly helped me to the makeup room. She asked carefully, "Grace, what's wrong? Is your depression acting up again?" These 5 years, searching for Ethan, I'd traveled everywhere, asked countless people, posted missing person flyers, bought trending hashtags. Even his family had given up, but I kept searching relentlessly. Through endless dark nights, I'd stood on street corners countless times, wanting to end this despair-consumed existence. But now, it was all a joke. Looking at the countless scars on my right wrist, healed and reopened again and again, my eyes burned, my heart tearing apart with pain. Rachel sighed, "Are you thinking about your fiancé again? Stop looking. After all this time, he's probably dead. I'll set something up later. Let Ethan's friends introduce you to someone." Just as she finished speaking, Ethan walked in. Black suit, tall and straight, exactly the same as 5 years ago. Our eyes met. He glanced at me indifferently, then stepped forward to adjust Rachel's wedding dress. His groomsmen followed old friends, most of whom I knew. Seeing me, their eyes held words unspoken. If earlier I could comfort myself thinking he had amnesia and didn't remember me. But his friends all told me, he hadn't lost his memory. He remembered everything. He just didn't love me anymore. Rachel quickly said, "Honey, make sure your friends stay tonight. Let's have some fun." She winked at me meaningfully. Ethan nodded casually, not sparing me another glance. As if we'd never known each other. I slowly closed my eyes, my heart feeling crushed in someone's fist, then ripped out and thrown into flames. I'd never hurt like this. I desperately needed an outlet for this madness inside me. I stood and rushed to the bathroom, slamming my head against the wall. With a dull thud, blood instantly covered my forehead. My body swayed, vision blurring. I leaned against the wall and slowly slid down, my heart piercing with pain. I hit the back of my head against the wall repeatedly. Only this way could I feel a moment of relief. It hurt so much. It really hurt too much. I curled up, waves of suffocating pain crushing my chest. Then I laughed softly. "Ethan Blake, so you don't want me anymore." Chapter 2. When I emerged from the bathroom, the wedding had already started. Rachel, understanding my emotional state, had found someone else to replace me. I stood at the farthest point, watching Rachel on stage sweetly saying, "I do." Ethan solemnly knelt on one knee, taking out the ring and placing it on her finger. Jealousy suddenly surged within me. I wanted to rush up and stop them, to demand why Rachel stole my fiancé. Why she hid him, why she made me unable to find him for 5 years. I wanted to ask Ethan why he pretended not to know me. Why he didn't find me after returning, why everyone kept it from me. I wanted to destroy this wedding. But I didn't. I just sat in the corner, leading the applause after their vows. I clapped loudly, drawing stares from those around me. I didn't care, only meeting Ethan's gaze when he looked my way. Our eyes locked. My nose stung, and the tears I'd been holding back immediately fell. Ethan's brow twitched slightly before he looked away indifferently, no emotion left in those dark, deep eyes. I clenched my palms desperately. I thought I might go insane. I typed a text on my phone and sent it to him. "Ethan Blake, I don't want to wish you a happy marriage. I curse you. I curse you to never get what you want for the rest of your life." The next second, I laughed at my own stupidity. The person he loved had already married him. My curse was meaningless. I didn't wait for the wedding to end and went straight home. If I stayed any longer, I'd lose control. 3 years ago, when news of Ethan cut off again, I'd attempted suicide. Unfortunately, I didn't succeed. A neighbor found me and took me to the hospital. When I woke up, Ethan's mother held my hand with tears in her eyes, begging me to live well, to live for him. But the world without Ethan was too bitter. We'd met at 6, started dating in high school, and right after college graduation, we'd picked a date to get our marriage license. But he'd had an accident on the way there and disappeared. I'd gone to the police station countless times, asked every stranger at the accident scene. All the same. No one saw him. Now he was back, but he didn't love me anymore. Chapter 3. I fell into a drowsy sleep and woke to my phone. There were calls from Rachel and comforting messages from Ethan's mother. And one glaring reply. Just one cold word. Leave. I laughed bitterly. So my self-proclaimed devotion was just a joke in his eyes. I completely shut myself in, starting endless sleepless nights. My hair fell out in clumps. Not leaving the house for 10 days, I visibly wasted away rapidly. My already thin body looked like just bones. Until Rachel came to my door because she couldn't reach me by phone, with Ethan behind her. I hadn't showered in 10 days and smelled faintly sour. But Rachel didn't care at all, rushing to hug me and dragging me toward the hospital. I knew what she feared. I pulled my hand away expressionlessly, my tone polite but distant. "I'm fine, thank you." I didn't know how to face Rachel with resentment or blessing. I thought I could do neither, so I instinctively wanted to distance myself from her. She didn't mind my sudden coldness, assuming I was just in a bad mood. Rachel sighed heavily in relief. Can you please answer your phone from now on? Is it just for decoration? Do you know how worried I was? Starting today, my husband and I are moving in to take care of you until you get better. No refusals accepted. Bounce back, bounce back, bounce back. Her expression was serious and determined, her personality bright and enthusiastic, making it hard not to love her. So no wonder Ethan fell for her. I looked at the figure standing behind her. His gaze was cold, those dark eyes narrowed like he was looking at a stranger. Even though he was ice cold, even though he was 10,000 miles away from me, I still craved even a hint of his warmth, even if it wasn't meant for me. As long as I could see him, one more day, one more minute, even one more second would be good. I didn't know if it was my inability to resist Rachel's care or my own selfishness. I let them move in. This apartment had been meant as our marital home, for after the wedding. After he disappeared, I decorated it according to his preferences, every piece of furniture arranged in his style. Rachel's eyes widened. Wow, Grace, your aesthetic is unique. Why is everything so dark? Black everywhere, so depressing. Nothing but black and gray, not a splash of color. Because my world had no light anymore. I said softly, because my fiancé liked it, so I decorated according to his preferences. Chapter 4. Rachel disapproved. You should have your own opinions too. Why cater to him in everything? When we decorated, my husband listened to me. It's so cozy, I make him sleep on pink sheets every day. I lowered my eyes, remembering when we first lived together. I'd loved pink sheets, cups, toothbrushes, bowls. I'd even bought him pink underwear, though he never wore them once. Same with the sheets. He'd rather sleep on the floor than on the bed. Later I reluctantly changed the colors before he'd return to bed. I stiffened for a moment, asking masochistically. Really? Does he sleep on the floor? Rachel snorted, glancing at Ethan. He wouldn't dare. He even wears pink underwear now. Ethan's expression flashed with embarrassment. He gently tapped her head, trying to stop her. What's wrong with pink sheets? If your fiancé slept on the floor over this, it just proves he didn't love you enough. After all these years searching for him, what a waste. Total scumbag. After a long silence, I agreed with her. You're right. Maybe he really didn't love me enough. After saying this, I clearly felt Ethan's gaze linger on me for a moment. His tone was cold. Since that's the case, Miss Morgan should know when to let go. Better yet, disappear from his sight forever. Self-delusion only breeds disgust in others. Ethan's words were blunt and harsh. Self-delusion. So I'd been deluding myself all along. My eyes immediately reddened, voice trembling. You understand him so well because you're the same type. Like playing disappearing acts, like making others wait, then crushing their hope without even an apology. In the end, calling it self-delusion. I just wanted an explanation. Are my 5 years so easily dismissed? Ethan frowned, his temper flaring too. No one asked you to wait. Love and hate are voluntary choices. Since you chose to wait, shouldn't you bear the consequences alone? Or because you waited 5 years, he should be grateful and marry you? Chapter 5. His words were ruthless and final. I stood frozen, my heart sinking like a stone. Tears poured out. Ethan's words were like knives, stabbing me. Repeatedly. He spoke so righteously. Love and hate were voluntary. No one forced me, no one asked me to wait, so today's outcome was mine alone to bear. Once unshakable feelings had become nothing but illusion. Rachel sensed something was wrong and quickly intervened, pulling Ethan into their room. Her warning voice carried clearly to my ears. Are you looking for trouble? You know Grace isn't well, why speak so harshly? Stop provoking her, you hear me? Ethan laughed mockingly, voice full of derision, just an act. I stood in a daze, not speaking for a long time, standing alone. The wound on my forehead still throbbed faintly, as if mocking my wishful thinking. After that argument, I rarely saw Ethan again. Perhaps he was deliberately avoiding me. Living under the same roof for half a month, we'd met only a handful of times. I grew more silent, spending most of my time alone in my room. Rachel often kept me company, cooking different meals daily, coaxing me to take my medication. I selfishly hoped she wouldn't be so kind to me. Her kindness made me unable to even think of stealing him. It made me feel like a third party secretly coveting someone else's husband. But how could I accept it? I was jealous of Ethan smiling at her, being good to her. I even wanted to gouge out my own eyes. I'd also thought despicably that if Ethan had died out there, at least I could still lie to myself. I started spending long hours in the living room, so when Ethan came home, I could see him. But as if sensing this, he didn't appear for days. I couldn't help asking Rachel, where is he? She lounged on the sofa texting, smiling sweetly. He hasn't been back to the States for 3 years, lots of company business, so he won't be coming over lately. I froze, asking in disbelief. Ethan came back 3 years ago. Why didn't I know? Yeah, to discuss our wedding plans. I opened my mouth, deadness filling my eyes. My numb brain kept repeating, he came back, he came back. My whole body turned cold. I wanted to scream, but only hoarse breath came out. Rachel's words were like a slap to my face. The next second, she jumped up excitedly. Grace, quick, quick, change clothes. Let's go to Luna Club now. My husband wants me to bring you to meet someone. I just saw his photo totally hot. She dragged me to my room, quickly changing my clothes and applying light makeup. I let her fuss over me because I wanted to see Ethan. Chapter 6. At the venue, Rachel sat next to Ethan first, then winked at me, signaling me to be bold. I said nothing, silently finding a seat. From this angle, I could see Ethan's every move. Watching his lips curve slightly under Rachel's teasing, in the dim light, Ethan's long fingers casually played with her waist. Rachel squeaked softly, then bit him. Ethan locked her hands and kissed her deeply. They kissed passionately. I hastily looked away, unable to watch anymore. My hidden hands clenched tightly. I lowered my head, unable to suppress my voice anymore, tears instantly falling. Like the last defense in my heart had collapsed. In this relationship, Ethan had abruptly left. But I was the one trapped in the ruins. I suddenly felt grateful that the dim lights hid my humiliation from everyone. I turned to look elsewhere but unexpectedly met eyes filled with amusement. Vincent Cross's lips curved in a smile, his tone lazily casual with a hint of impropriety. The neighbor who played slice and dice in the bathtub. Hello there. My eyelid twitched suddenly. 3 years ago, he'd broken down my door and taken me to the hospital, then stayed with me for a week. But his words were always barbed, cooling any gratitude I'd felt. After that, even meeting in the elevator. We never spoke. Vincent continued, Tisk, 4 years as neighbors and you're pretending not to know me? I frowned slightly. No, thank you for last time. His lips curved up, eyebrow raised lightly, also lowering his voice to match mine. Oh my, such a distinguished person with such a poor memory. Thanking me now for something 3 years ago? Let me calculate the interest on that. So, how do you plan to thank me? Vincent moved closer, his thigh and suit pants pressing against my skirt hem. I could clearly feel his warmth. His voice was teasing, how about hiding in my arms to cry? I'll collect some interest first. My lashes trembled. I didn't want to deal with him. Looking up toward Ethan's position, I found him watching me too. Those dark eyes held barely perceptible mockery. Chapter 7. I lowered my head with a bitter smile. Was this what he wanted? To push me toward others to get rid of me? I mocked my own stupidity. Why did I still have expectations? The answer was obvious. What was I still hoping for? This ridiculous blind date ended my 5 years of obsession. After the drinks ended, Ethan threw me a keycard to the penthouse. His lips curved slightly, showing contemptuous amusement. You must have been lonely all this time. Have some fun tonight. Vincent's got good stamina. He'll definitely satisfy you. He leaned close, voice lowering. But can he find your sensitive spots? I stared at him, looking for a long time. Ethan Blake, I admit defeat. If this is what you want, I'll give it to you. I took the keycard and went up to the penthouse, entering Vincent's room. He was half lying on the bed, looking at me sideways. He's the one you searched for 5 years? I was somewhat surprised, but thinking about it, not really. I'd searched for Ethan for 5 years. Everyone in our circle knew. It reaching Vincent's ears wasn't strange. Yes. Vincent irritably crushed his cigarette, so you turned into this mess because of him? I frowned, what's wrong with how I look? Moping around like your husband died. I rarely agreed with him, yeah, he died long ago. Vincent laughed lightly, lazily lifting his eyelids. His casual eyes held rare seriousness. Grace Morgan, I've never been a gentleman. You can lean on me, use me as your lifeline. But entering this room, you should know what it means. His meaning was clear. I nodded, actively climbing onto his body, reaching the peak together with him. I'd suppressed myself too long. Seeing him at the wedding, hearing Rachel say she'd taken him away for 5 years. Learning he'd returned 3 years ago but let me sink deeper into despair daily. I was already insane. I completely let go, keeping Vincent in the hotel for 3 days and nights. I'd asked myself, do I still love him? Still miss him? The answer was yes. But I wouldn't miss him anymore. Chapter 8. On the 4th day, Vincent and I dressed and went home separately. Seeing me return, Rachel excitedly surrounded me asking about the battle situation. Vincent had been creative. These 3 days, he tried every position on me. I'd cooperated as much as possible. My body was covered in red marks and bruises. Rachel's eyes widened, damn, I knew he was capable, but didn't expect this capable. Is there any unmarked spot on your body? I said nothing, only feeling an intensely cold gaze traveling over me. I sneered inwardly, meeting his sharp eyes and curving my lips. I told Rachel, thank your husband for me. Thank him for letting me completely give up. With that, I went straight to my room. Passing the living room. Ethan suddenly stood, his deep dark eyes flashing with jealous flames. His face turned terrifyingly dark, voice cold. No need to have her thank me. I'm standing right here. You can thank me yourself. I turned to face him, speaking flatly, thank you. Not wanting to continue this entanglement, I turned to leave. But Ethan stepped forward and grabbed my arm. I twisted my wrist but he held too tightly. I couldn't break free. I frowned, using my eyes to signal that Rachel was still here. Don't go too far. But if he didn't see, he moved closer, bending to my ear. Thanking me for finding someone to scratch your itch? Looks like you drained him pretty well. These 5 years must have been hard to endure. If he can't keep up, you can come find me too. Don't worry, I'll use my hands. Because you disgust me. Instantly, I felt plunged into an ice cave, my heart sinking heavily. Ethan left me no dignity at all. His words made me wish I could disappear. My face burned with humiliation. He was the one who didn't want me, who pushed me toward Vincent. Why could he always act so righteously as if I'd betrayed him? I couldn't take it anymore. I forcefully broke free and slapped him across the face. Mindful of Rachel, I deliberately lowered my voice. Ethan Blake, you keep humiliating me because you know I can't let go of you. But now, I can. I'd let myself go. Seeing me hit Ethan, Rachel quickly stepped between us, her tone heavier. Grace, why did you hit my husband? Looking at Rachel like this, I felt deeply powerless. I turned back to my room but still faintly heard her questioning. Didn't I tell you not to provoke her? She's been a bit unstable lately. What exactly did you say to her, getting so close? Ethan didn't answer for a long time, just staring unblinkingly at my retreating figure. Chapter 9. Because I'd hit Ethan, Rachel didn't want to talk to me for several days. My feelings toward her were complicated. She was my best friend. During countless dark nights when I wanted to end everything, she'd comforted me through the night. Worried I'd do something stupid, she'd arranged people to watch me. She seemed to have done nothing wrong to me, yet she'd hurt me the deepest. My 5 years of hell, my despair and helplessness. All thanks to her. Because she'd fallen for Ethan, she took him from me for 5 whole years. Knowing he had a fiancé, she still came between us. So in the end, who had invaded whose world? I wasn't magnanimous. I couldn't give them my blessing. I didn't want to be their third wheel anymore, so when Rachel passive-aggressively brought up me hitting Ethan again, I spoke directly, you should move out. Rachel froze, then exploded, just because I said a few words, you're kicking me out? Did I serve you for nothing these days? You hitting my husband was wrong, and I didn't even make a big deal about it. Now you're getting cocky with me. Grace Morgan, is your depression just never going to get better? You deserve your depression. You deserve your fiancé leaving you. Damn, if he'd stayed with you, he couldn't stand your attitude either. I said nothing, letting her vent at me. Her scolding me was good. This way, my last bit of guilt toward her disappeared completely. I waited until she finished, then said softly. Rachel, let's not see each other anymore. Move out today. Without acknowledging her, I went straight next door. Laughably, these 5 years, I'd made myself friendless because they all thought I was crazy. Except Rachel, no one bothered with me. I knocked. I'd expected to see Vincent, but a woman in a camisole nightgown answered. She looked half asleep, asking groggily who I was. I froze for 2 seconds but still asked, where's Vincent? She pointed inside, sleeping. Want to come in? I felt stuck. I knew Vincent had no shortage of women, but him having someone else while with me, I couldn't handle it. It disgusted me. No need. Chapter 10. I hurried downstairs. I realized tragically that I had nowhere to go. During those 5 years searching for Ethan, my parents told me to give up. I didn't listen, so they stopped caring. And my only home had 2 people I didn't want to see. My phone kept ringing. I glanced at it, mostly Rachel's calls. One was from Vincent. I didn't want to answer. Opening WhatsApp, Rachel had sent several 60-second voice messages. She knew I wouldn't listen, so the last one was text. You scared my baby. Come back and apologize, and I might forgive you. She'd built me a step down, but I didn't want to take it. After a moment, I calmly typed 2 words. Move out. Congratulate them. I couldn't do it. Even after another 5 years, 10 years, or until I died. I couldn't forgive, let alone bless their child. If I could forgive everything, my 5 years would become a joke. I stayed out until 3 a.m. before going back. Rachel hadn't moved out yet. After washing up and lying in bed, Vincent called. After hesitating a second, I answered. Come out. I said flatly, it's late. Tomorrow. Since he had another woman, there was no need to continue. Vincent clicked his tongue, you didn't mind the time when you were using me. Heartless little thing, had your fun and want to run? He had me there. After thinking, I threw on a robe and went out. Vincent leaned against the wall, his distinct fingers holding a cigarette. Seeing me come out, he tossed the cigarette and pulled me directly into the stairwell. He pressed me against the wall, my nightgown pushed to my waist, kisses trailing down my back. Vincent's breathing grew heavier. Just as he wanted to go further, I pressed his hand down. Vincent, if you have other women, don't touch me. It makes me uncomfortable. His movements didn't stop, kissing while mumbling responses. Who do I have? I bit my lip, unsure whether to mention what I'd seen today. If I didn't say it, he wouldn't stop. If I did, I'd seem petty. I wasn't his anyone, why care about his other women? I stayed silent. Vincent turned me to face him directly. His tone held teasing, saw someone at my place today, jealous? I froze. So he knew. Then shook my head, not jealous, just don't like sharing toys. His eyes narrowed slightly. After a moment, he laughed softly. This toy is yours. No one else has touched it. My face reddened. Before I could speak, he carried me toward his apartment. Chapter 11. I didn't leave Vincent's place until nearly dawn. I found Ethan sitting on the sofa. He hadn't turned on the lights, the living room was pitch black. By moonlight, I could barely make out the dark figure. I was somewhat surprised but said nothing. Ethan crushed his cigarette. The room was too dark to see his expression clearly, but I could still feel his eyes like two sharp knives, as if trying to bore holes through me. In the quiet air, I could faintly hear the sound of joints cracking from excessive force. He suddenly stood and walked toward me, stopping in front of me. His voice was fierce, like brewing an approaching storm. Did it again? Grace Morgan, are you that desperate for a man? I felt like I'd heard some joke. When he gave me the keycard, didn't he know what would happen? I looked up at him. The close distance let me see the terrifying madness in his eyes. After a long moment, I slowly spoke. Ethan Blake, did you come back 3 years ago? This question had haunted me for too long. Without asking, I couldn't let it go. He avoided answering, gritting his teeth. I'm asking if you slept with him again. Are you so fucking desperate? Can't live without a man? You need to understand, even though I married Rachel, it doesn't mean I don't love you anymore. If you want it, tell me. I'll satisfy you. Why do you keep going to Vincent? Saying this, he forcefully threw me onto the sofa and pressed down on top of me. My eyes widened. Before I could question him, he roughly sealed my lips. I tried pushing him away, but Ethan easily pinned both my hands above my head with one hand. He kissed passionately while I kept my mouth tightly shut, not letting him succeed. He was insane. Rachel was pregnant, sleeping in the bedroom. If she opened the door, she'd see this explicit scene. And Ethan didn't seem to care at all. My mind flashed with momentary hesitation and struggle. The long-suppressed pain in my heart made me want revenge for an instant. The suffering I'd endured showed she experienced it too, to be fair. But the next second, I overturned that tilting scale in my heart. Rachel couldn't become the next me. I struggled to turn my head, about to speak when the living room light suddenly came on. Chapter 12. I turned to look. Rachel stood quietly at the bedroom door. Who knew how long she'd been watching? The air fell into deathly silence. Ethan stood up silently, wiping his lips casually, smiling as if he didn't care at all. Why are you awake? Rachel's gaze was poisonous, falling on me, then looking at Ethan. She laughed coldly. I woke up at the wrong time, interrupting your fun, right? Then she turned to me. Bitch, haven't I been good to you? You even dare steal my man. I was worried about you, just newly married, and I brought my husband to take care of you. This is how you repay me. I knew this day would come eventually, but didn't expect it to happen this way. I had to admit, though I wasn't happy, I didn't feel much guilt either. I stood up, gaze calm. I never stole your man. You stole mine. My denial made her angrier. Rachel stormed toward me and slapped me hard across the face. You think I'm blind? If you hadn't seduced him, why would he force you? Your fiancé died and you're desperate? Go find a gigolo. Wandering around in a nightgown in the middle of the night, you think I don't know what you're thinking? She used her full strength in that slap. My left cheek burned with pain. I tasted blood spreading in my mouth. I looked at her, raising my hand then lowering it. This slap would repay her for helping me those 5 years. I lifted my eyelids, looking at Ethan with mockery. Aren't you going to comfort your wife? He looked at me, then at Rachel, his eyes dark and unreadable, speaking flatly. Let's go home. I'll explain. Rachel's face was dark. What explanation could make me forgive your double betrayal? You're the person I love most. She's my best friend. When you two got together behind my back, did you think about today? I laughed softly. Double betrayal? Wasn't I also doubly betrayed? Oh, no. Different. I was deceived, hidden from, played for. A fool for 5 years without knowing. Chapter 13. Hearing my words, Ethan frowned slightly. As if afraid I'd say something I shouldn't, he directly pulled Rachel away. The previously tense living room instantly became incredibly quiet. I wasn't wrong. I'd already endured so much. But why was I always the unlucky one? After they left that time, Rachel and I never contacted each other again. I packed her things and mailed them to her. I didn't deliberately seek news about Ethan either, nor did I know how he'd explain things between us. As for Vincent, I briefly told him what happened that night. He made me brush my teeth for 3 hours until my gums bled and my mouth was full of toothpaste flavor. Food had no taste anymore before he was satisfied. I'd protested, but he kept squeezing toothpaste for me without speaking. Brush clean. I can't stand his scent on you. Not even a trace. I was helpless but did as he asked. Vincent and I moved in together. On moving day, I saw Ethan downstairs. Since he'd left with Rachel last week, I hadn't seen him. Strangely, I couldn't forget him in 5 years. But this week, I hadn't thought of him once. I looked into his eyes, slightly red-rimmed, seemingly unwilling yet helpless. Ethan's voice was hoarse. I came back. 3 years ago. I looked for you too, but Vincent answered your phone. Grace Morgan, I hated you so much in that moment. I only disappeared for 2 years, and you already had someone new. So I left again. Seeing you at the wedding, I suddenly felt vengeful satisfaction. So I married Rachel. I lowered my eyes, speaking softly. Want to know why he answered my phone 3 years ago? He stared at my eyes, throat feeling blocked, waiting quietly for my answer. I looked at him, enunciating clearly. I had depression. I attempted suicide. Because I couldn't find you. I slit my wrists in the bathtub. I wanted to join you. Vincent took me to the hospital. I was there for 10 days. Ethan stared at me unblinkingly, showing disbelief on his face, his standing figure trembling for a moment. After a long while, he opened his mouth but was too shaky to speak. Grace, will you wait for me again? Rachel's pregnant. She saved me. I can't leave her now. After she has the baby. I'll divorce her and make it up to you properly, okay? Chapter 14. I smiled and shook my head, refusing. Ethan Blake, we're already over. I'm slowly moving on. I hope you never appear before me again. Ethan, it's all too late. If at the wedding you'd looked at me once, asked if I was okay, I would have waited for you without hesitation. But now, I won't. Ethan left. As I wished, he never appeared again. Vincent said the apartment had bad feng shui and insisted on taking me to his private villa. I asked why. He'd just thrown all my medication in the trash. Hearing this, he raised an eyebrow with indescribable roguishness. Too dark there, not suitable for your growth. Grace Morgan, with me, you don't need these useless pills. Looking at the faint smile on his lips, I pretended not to understand. What if I have an episode? Vincent smiled teasingly, a crazy episode? I curved my eyes, warmth flooding my heart. In his eyes, I was just a normal person. When Rachel was 3 months pregnant, she contacted me again. After thinking, I agreed to meet her. Nearly 2 months apart, she seemed unchanged, still as domineering as before. Looking at me with cold eyes, she spoke first. I know everything now. Ethan Blake was your fiancé you searched for 5 years. She paused, then continued. If it were anyone else, I wouldn't even apologize. It's their fault for not keeping their lover. I just fought for what I wanted. I don't think I did wrong. But that person is you, Grace. I don't want to apologize to you. I unknowingly stole your fiancé. Though it was somewhat immoral. But if I can't get your forgiveness, Ethan won't pay attention to me. I slowly lifted my eyes, gaze calm. Your business has nothing to do with me. Rachel clenched her palms, softening her voice for the first time. Grace, I'm sorry. I love him. My child can't be without a father. Even knowing your past now, I still don't want to leave him. I saved him. As long as I don't mention divorce, he'll never leave me. For the sake of those 5 years I helped you somewhat, forgive me, okay? I said nothing, looking at her for a long time. In my memory, Rachel was passionate and outgoing, loyal and brave in love and hate. Never begging anyone. This was the first time. For Ethan Blake, she'd humbled herself. Once I'd loved Ethan deeply, obsessed for 5 years. I'd hated Rachel for it too. But now, she was just like I'd been. Ethan had become her demon too. I gave her that apartment. I'd decorated it in Ethan's preferred style, but I didn't need it anymore. Consider it a gift for her child. Forgive? But his friends all told me he hadn't lost his memory. He remembered everything. Yes. A year later, Vincent and I got married. On the day we got our license, the weather was perfect. What should have been a 30-minute drive, he stretched to an hour and a half. Several times I wanted to curse him, but held back. At City Hall, a 10-minute process, he dragged out for nearly half an hour. I couldn't take it anymore and snapped. If you don't want to get married, then don't. Vincent's lips twitched, getting annoyed too. TSK, who do you think I'm dragging this out for? Trying to give you a memorable experience and getting scolded for it. I took a deep breath, letting him be. Leaving City Hall, I held a warm red booklet in my hands. I felt momentarily dazed. Last time I was here, I'd gotten news of Ethan's accident. 6 years later, appearing here again. I'd married another man. 2 years later, I had a daughter. Vincent. Treasured her incredibly, naming her Victoria Cross. I once asked if there was special meaning. He looked at me for a long time, teasing. Fond of you. I smiled. Yes. I'm fond of you too. The end.